what's up and welcome back to my channel. And look who I have here, the one and only Abiola. She's at It's Abiola on YouTube and she's my fantastic sister and she's there to grace us with her presence. And today we're just gonna be delving straight into it. This is like a real talk, you know, good girlfriends, real chill, seats, coffee, she's got her tea, you know. And we're just going to be having a good conversation on kind of reinventing yourself and discovering your purpose and fulfillment. I know that that's something that lots of people, you know, question and have questions about. And this is a conversation that we have had on our own terms and, you know, personally. And we just decided to just bring it to the camera and bring it to light. Especially as a creative where you have multiple passions and you're wondering, how do I discover which one to, you know, pursue or identify which one is God's purpose for myself? So she's an author, she's a content creator. I don't know if she's still a content creator. She was and she still is a content creator, amen. And she's a content creator, a fabulous mom to three, look fabulous mom, and also a professional. So I feel like she's someone who is worthy to have this conversation with, and I know that you're gonna get a word. I'm trusting God you're gonna get a word for your season, and just chill, you know, just chill and just have a conversation. So Biola, you want to introduce yourself and let them know who you are?
Hi, hello everyone, welcome to this channel. My name is Abiola. I do have a YouTube channel. I have not been on my YouTube channel for a while. So I'm so excited to be here for us to just have this conversation. I am by no means a professional in this regard. So this is just two of us just talking, sharing ideas. So I just hope you enjoy just us having conversations with each other. And we want to hear from you in the comments down below. So when anything we say kind of resonates with you, please leave a comment down below.
Yes, we would love that. And then just speaking of, you know, being a creative on your journey, why was it that you just took a pause on creating content?
So I started this in 2020, COVID era, right?
COVID
so everyone
era.
started new hobbies and trying new things. So this is something I've always done. Hair has been something, and that's what I do on my channel, mainly just hair. So it's been something, I think it's in the blood. My grandmother had a salon, my mom had a salon, so I've always been around it. And I just enjoyed it. And I started doing my hair myself, I think at the age of like 8 or 9. Like I'll braid my own hair and do weaves on my own hair. So it was just an outlet for me to go on there and just start to create. And so I did that and I was really into it and I did it like back to back. And then I just got to a point where I was like, I'm done. Like try this, been there, done that. And then I just wanted something different. And I think that's kind of what I do. Like I like to try different things.
You like challenges? Maybe you like, you're someone who finds this hobby and I want something to do that's challenging, and then once you overcome it, you're like, been there, done that.
Exactly. I love change. I know people say change is hard, but for me, I love just trying and experimenting. And yes, I'm a creative, so I like to, this is something that I can try out, and then I'll try it out. Like I've gone from wanting to try out making chairs, refurbishing chairs, painting, and just the whole, like I just love to explore.
As I'm gonna say, you are Abiola the Explorer.
Yes, maybe.
So speaking of, we had this, you know, powerful conversation where you talked about focusing on the power of one thing, and I would love you to just kind of reiterate what you said, because there's you know, especially this is for someone who is struggling with multiple passions and you're like, I don't know what to do, I want to do this, I want to do that. There's sometimes I'm like, I want to do finance, I want to do fitness, I want to do weight loss, I want to do fashion. So how would you recommend that someone who has multiple passions kind of discover and walk into their own purpose?
Okay, that's loaded. Couple of things. I think it depends on, when we were talking about it based on building something and growing something that could potentially be a financial source for us. So if that's the aim and that's the thinking of, I want to grow in something, then as someone that has multi-talents, it can be very distracting. True. Because I'll give you an example. Like you help someone organize a birthday and they're like, oh my god, you should do this. This is your calling. And you're like, you know, then you may be distracted. Okay, maybe this is my calling. But
that's so true.
It can be very distracting. But I would say if you're trying to grow something, you have to pick one thing. And it doesn't mean that you end up only with one thing. It means that you pick one thing and you focus for like 3, 6, a year, and you do that one thing and you grow that one thing. And when you grow it to a point where, okay, it's starting to pick up, then you can add another thing. But what we try to do is we try to grow
at the same time.
3 things all at the same time. We're starting 3 things from scratch and trying to grow 3 things from scratch. And if you're a single, no children, maybe you have all the time, go for it.
That's
but
true.
if you have to be realistic as well with your life. Like, what is your lifestyle like? Are you in a professional, like you're building your career as well? Do you have children?
Facts.
What age are the children?
What season of life
what
are you
season
in?
of life are you in? Are you a spouse? You know, what does that look like? What is your lifestyle? Like, I also am married to a person that we travel quite a bit. So sometimes there's that uncertainty as well, because it could be in 3 months from now we're moving somewhere and we find out 3 months before.
Wow.
Or it could be, you know, we move somewhere, like, okay, we're supposed to be here for 2 years and we're planning for that, but then it stays longer. So it's really, there's a lot of variables.
Yeah.
But if you, what I would say to someone that is like, okay, I want to start something, I want to grow something, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 things. Look at those 4 things. Which is the one that you think, if you started today, out of all 4, that you could actually execute and do really well in, that would bring maybe the most financial benefits? Then start with that one thing and keep going. And also, there is the reality of life. Life happens. So maybe you start that one thing and you realize going down that actually this is really not for me. Then you can stop and then go to the other thing. But there is also that thing of you have to just persevere.
Yes, there is that factor as well.
There is that factor as well. And then, you know, we're strong believers as well. So there is always the God factor and just praying for leading in whatever endeavors. But I think sometimes we do get scared and we don't want to just jump. But just jump and pray that God will help you through, and start with the one. And then you can build up and add onto it. So you don't have to only do the one.
I love that. And I just need to add to that there's clarity that comes from doing. Right? Most times you're like, I mean, I've always prayed to God for purpose from when I was a teenager. I came into Christ really young, so I just knew that I didn't want to delve in here and there. I'm not that type of person. I just want to focus on one thing. So, but I wasn't hearing anything from God. It just feel like maybe I was hearing medicine or becoming a doctor, maybe because that's what everybody else was saying. Because you know, if you're coming from an African home, once you are smart, you're book smart, you're like, doctor me. In fact, my dad had already gone ahead to plan the hospital that was gonna sell us from. I was like, wait, hold up. I'm not even coming to this acceptance of if I want to be a doctor, right? But so to say that, I was not like, okay, what is it that God, that didn't work out. Just so you know, I got a medical course that wasn't related to medicine. This was not supposed to be part of the conversation, but I want to help someone just in case. And then someone said to me, just do. You know, there's clarity from doing. Most times we're praying, but you're not doing anything. You're not taking any action. So God doesn't. And sometimes when you join, it might be that you join a department in church, right? You're serving, and you start noticing, like she said, when somebody notices that, oh, maybe I'm a good party planner. That might not be it. But just from maybe I'm more into the details. I'm very good at getting into the details. I know how to plan ahead when I see that there's danger coming ahead. It could also be a personality thing. But I'm just saying this to say that just start doing something. Just take action. Don't just sit there and say, I want to become great. But you're not doing anything. You're just lying on your couch praying, Holy Ghost, help me. But you're not doing it. That's not the way God works. God wants to bless the work of your hands, right? He's going to lead you from the doing.
Yeah. And that's also faith without action instead, right?
Dead,
so you have to also show that action and put in the action.
We took it to church. So anyways, I just love to be realistic, and I want to say that, so for instance, now I'm someone who is like, okay, I still don't know what God is calling me to do. I'm in my 30s, I'm in my 20s. Is it late for me? Do you think it's late?
I love, what's her name? There's a lady that I love when I start to feel like, because I used to be that person as well. I'm in my 30s. And I used to be like, oh, man, to start this now? Like, you know, but Fumi, I forget her. Do you know the Fumi lady? She started her YouTube channel like almost 40.
Oh,
or in her 40s.
Fumi the Salubo,
Yes, in her 40s. She had her baby at like mid almost 50. So I watched the video and she talked about her journey, and I was just like, this is so encouraging.
It is.
And I love that she's constantly talking about her age, just so you know that it's never too late to start something. It's never too late. It's never too early if you're young. It's never too late if you're older. Like, just start. And I think for me, as a creative and someone that just enjoys dabbling into new things, I think that's how I see my future unfolding, because I like to have new experiences. Like, for me, it's all about experiences. So definitely, you know, if you're in your 30s and you're like, I don't know, it's okay. it's okay. Just go back, go to the drawing board and see, okay, what do I want to start now? And it doesn't take long for God to bless you. Like it doesn't have to be a 10-year process. It may be, but it doesn't have to be. So it doesn't matter where you're at. Just go, just start. And if you're around people that are telling you that it's too late, you know, put some comments down below. We'll reach out to you and encourage you for sure.
I love it.
But yes, it
doesn't take long for God to bless you.
No.
Someone needed to hear that, because we always think, you know, by our own human thinking, it's gonna take like, let me see, if I calculate, if I do the math, the math is not mathing. If I start, you know, degree, do this, do that, because you're calculating based on your own human capacity, right? But like she said, it doesn't take long for God to bless you.
Yep.
That's also wanted to ask the questions about navigating friendships in this era. I feel like it's now a thing where people have been traumatized from relationships and friendships. So what do you think you have put in place personally to, like, you know, make sure that, you know, you shield yourself, or you are able to get yourself strategic friendships? And I don't like using the word strategic friendship, because I also like that means you had forethought that, okay, I want this particular kind of person. It's safe to love this kind of person, but if you are actually praying to God for a certain type of friendship, are you now going with like, okay, I want this I want a particular type of person? And maybe I'm just talking from my own experience, right? So I find out that I'm asking God that, God, I want quality friendships, but I have like a particular kind of person in my mind. It's almost like you're praying to God for a spouse, but but based on the people that are already around, you're like, God, I want 6 feet tall that can handsome, but not that person. And God is like, well, is that person? Where, no, God, I mean, I want 6 feet. So it's like I'm praying for friendships, but the people that are coming my way, they are amazing people, but they don't fit the aesthetic, this statuesque, or the aesthetic. Let me just put the aesthetic that I expect my friendships to come in, or the packaging. So how do you navigate?
That's an interesting one. I will say this: when I was younger, before getting married, I think in my early 20s, I would literally like see someone, I'd be like, oh, I like that person, I want to be friends with that person, and I'll figure a way out and I will be friends with that person. Like I would do that, get myself in the right space and stuff like that. So now that I've gotten older, navigating friends, I think it's extremely important to have quality friends, people of like minds. And I think when you meet someone, I am quite friendly, like, and I could be a bit much to take in when we first meet. So like, I am straightforward. I am the person that I will tell you or talk to you, and I ask questions, and you know, and then we just kind of, if we gel, we gel. If we don't, it don't. And then I do try to build friendship. So if like I meet someone and I'm like, oh, I really like this person, we gel really well, I would call them and I'll check up on them, and then we'll build the relationship. So there is a building of relationship that needs to take place. So you can't just meet someone, you think, oh, that person is cool, and then you don't exchange numbers, and you don't try to be friends with that person, you don't make an effort to be that friends with that person. You know, you have to have those play dates like you did when you were kids. And I don't think it's wrong to expect a certain kind of quality of a friend, because like for me, most of my friends were similar but very different. So a lot of my friends are very loving people. I'm not the very loving person. And I think that's why I have friends that are loving, because if I was friends with myself, I probably wouldn't stay friends with myself. But, and I think that whole opposites attracting thing works. I like people that are very open and honest. I gravitate towards that. If you're very closed, it wouldn't work, because it just wouldn't work. So, forums that we've made friends would be church one. That's always an easiest place to start. If you're in a new place, new setting, if you're a Christian, I do suggest going to church, joining a department. That's always the first way to make friends. And then the second one is randomly meeting people anywhere. So I literally would see someone and I would just go up to them and start talking to them. And if it's cool, it's cool. And then we exchange numbers and then we pursue the friendship. And also, you know, finding people if it's professional life, in your profession. So at work, I would, you know, reach out to people, and the more I talk to them, I think, okay, this is someone that I gel with. Then we exchange numbers and we build a friendship outside of work, and then we start to talk outside of work. So it's honestly in just one, you have to be vulnerable. So you have to put yourself out there. You have to show yourself.
Yeah,
friendly.
but that's the trigger part for most people. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm preaching to the choir, right, the vulnerability part is where people are like struggling, because okay, I've poured out my heart to this friend maybe in high school or college, and you know, I found out that, you know, if I tell this person, I think that's always the thing with females. I don't know that guys struggle with this. If I pour out my heart to this person, I find out that this person is saying, you know, going to tell people what my secret is, or something that I, you know, confided in her about. So it's that vulnerability part that I think people are struggling with, from what I sense, where, you know, people have betrayed their trust before. So now I'm like, why should I trust someone else?
Okay, first of all, if you meet someone and you guys are talking and you find the person's always telling you about other people,
of course, that's a red flag.
That's a flag. I'm not gonna tell you stuff if I know, because no matter how well we're cool, you will tell my story to someone else. So if you're into gossiping and your friend is into gossiping, expect that you're going to be backstabbed. Expect it. I think people tend to show their true nature and their character when you listen close enough. And I think maybe that's the issue. Some people are just not listening and you're not really looking into it. Look at their lifestyle and listen to what people are saying. And I think that would help. And then, you know, secrets. There's certain things that it takes, you know, you don't just stop meeting someone and then you pour no, you have to also have wisdom. And, you know, slowly you share and they share, you share and they share, and then you share together. But if also you're only the one that is pouring and this person isn't, then either you need to be asking questions, or then you are not being sensitive enough. But I will say, no matter what you do, it may happen, because life is life.
You
know, so it's you know how there's this saying, whether to have loved or not to have loved, right? So do you want to pour it out and enjoy the friendship, and then, okay, that wasn't a good one, and then you learn from it, or you just want to stay hidden and then you never have a good friendship? It's a risk that you have to take. Is honest truth. Like, there isn't anything that will completely guard you and say, okay, if I follow these steps, then I will definitely never, you know, encounter this. But be willing to try, open up, and you will be surprised that you get some really great quality people. And if you're a great quality person, I honestly think like you draw to yourself. Because I personally, I have to say, I don't think I've had any like huge issues where I felt like, oh, this person, you know, stabbed me in the back, or I don't recall that.
I love that. I love that you said that, and that, I was going to just round up with that. That first off, I'm in the era where I'm praying to God for, like, you know, everyone's destiny is different. So I'm particular about people I surround myself with now. You know, when you come into the knowing of who you are, there's a certain level of people that you also, so even if you may not have had, you know, issues with people, you also need people to get you to where God is, you know, predestined for you to get to. And there are certain level of people that you still need to get in contact with, that will probably push you, escalate you, and stuff like that. You guys will help each other, so it's not just one-sided.
Yes.
But I think where you were headed, and where I was going to end with, was make sure that you're also that person, that kind of friend that you're also wishing for.
Yes.
Right? You cannot just say it's not a one-sided thing. You can't say, oh, this is not the way you guys act. Some of you act with God. So I think some of you want to treat your friendship like the way you act with God, where you're like, oh God, I want this, I want that, give me, take. But then no, it's not like that. You have to be there. If they're having an event, you have to intentionally. I can't make it to their child's birthday. Oh, I'm sending something. That's if you have the capacity to, you know, or give them a call, happy birthday to your son. Like, the intentional, those little details. Some people, and then find out what your friend's love language is.
I was gonna say that. Yeah. There's also a need to know what your friend actually cherishes, what they value, and so you're giving that to them. Because sometimes we want to love how we want to be loved, but that may not be what the friend needs. And open communication, I don't know, I feel like some people just aren't good at open communication, like talk, like ask those awkward questions. Okay, what do you want from me? Like me and my friends would ask that. Okay, I want to be a better friend this year. What do you want from me? How can I be a better friend to you? You know, and we talk about it, because there's no point you assuming things, you know. So talk about those things. How can I be a better friend? What are things you know, that you like for me to improve on? Yeah. You know, how do you want? How would you feel loved? What are things? So have those conversations. Don't be like, you know, we'll figure it out. No, like, be open. Like, talk about it.
I just recently learned that. I don't know. I didn't mean to cut you short. Sorry. I just recently learned that, you know, the way you set goals for your life, you're also supposed to set goals for your friendship. I just watched a video. I'm gonna link it in the description box, where you kind of say, just just like you were saying, to kind of reiterate your point where you're like, oh, what do you want from me? What are your expectations of this friendship? Kind of, I don't know, I think people don't ask questions. Like when you're dating, you interview session, right? I ask a lot. I mean it, this is just me. Like obviously that's why I'm here. I love to ask people questions. So of course my friends are like, what do you want from me? Like literally, because sometimes they're like, oh yeah, you're not doing this, oh, was that your expectation from me? You know, just set goals for your relationship and actually write it down, like be intentional. We are grown-ups now, you know. Let's just do our own part. So I feel like friendship is something that I think can make or mar you. There are certain rooms where you might only get to because your friend will mention that I have a friend who has the capacity to do this. So your friendship, you should take your friendships real seriously if you haven't been. So I just felt that this was something I needed to delve into. And so as far as discovering purpose, so to you, Biola, I know you're a hair coach. She's also an author of a book of Wani's Hair Day.
Yes, Waniana's Hair Day.
So she's also an author, and then she's a professional, she's a mom. So how does that come into, like, you know, in terms of balancing being a mom, being a professional, an author, and how does somebody say, okay, I don't know that I want to do any of this? How do you just discover your identity in Christ, and just with everything, how do you just get into that space? I don't know, just tell us a bit more.
I think it's you grow into it, right? So first I was a mom. That was the time I wasn't working. And then I started my professional career, and my friends helped me with that as well. And then the book came. I literally was just sat down, I think, on my bed one time. I don't know if my daughter made a comment, or I just noticed a lot of, when I see pictures of other young girls, I kind of cringe sometimes when I see young girls with like relaxed hair or doing hairstyles that I think are not appropriate for that age. So I'm just like, you know, I really want my child to grow up to love her hair as is and love herself as is. And so I just kind of started writing, and that's where the book came from. And I just wrote it. I didn't think it was going to be a book, and I was like, okay, well, maybe this could be a book. And then I did the book. I was like, okay, maybe it's just supposed to be for us. And then my friends like, just puts it out in the world. So then I did, and that's how that happened. But I think it's a journey, and I think you're constantly uncovering things about yourself. Everyone's different, you know. Some people kind of know these things at like 20 and they're running with it. Some people don't have a lot of interest like we, and they're just one focus. I think those are the best, honestly, because they're one focus. They like the one thing, and then they change. Exactly. But for us, I think, you know, it's unfolding. It's life. It's just, you just kind of go with the flow, trust the process, and trust the journey. In every part of the journey, you're learning constantly. You're learning about yourself. You're learning about how you can push through. The balancing act is hard, you know. And you have to be realistic again with yourself and your ability. There's some moms out there that it looks like, my God, they are superwoman. But then they may have a huge support system that you may not have or privilege to. So never compare yourself. That's going to steal your joy. Just kind of go at your own pace and understand that your time is your time. I recently read this book, Where the Children Take Us. And at the end, she talked about how what is yours will not pass you by. She really strongly believes in that. She went to an interview and she helped the person who was also interviewing for the same job, and told them, she went in first. She came and said, oh, these were the things they asked me. Good luck. And like, who would do that? Just when you're so confident in, if it's mine, it's mine. If it's not, it's not. And I loved that.
That's a good way to see life.
That's the way we all should kind of get to, is, you know what, let's just go on this journey and see where it takes us. When you have those low days and those bad days, have those people that you can call on and be like, look, I'm feeling this way right now. Can you just help me out? Can you talk me through it? And you'll be surprised that a lot of the times, even for me, like, there are achievements that I've achieved, but I see them as nothing. Like, when the way she introduced me, I'm like, what was I just talking about? Like, we look down on our, like, what we've achieved so much that you're surprised that you've done so much more than you think. Because you just don't place so much value on it. So wherever you're at, trust the journey. Understand that everyone's timing is different. What is yours will not pass you by. Have that belief system that it's all working out for your own good. And then it's not too late if you want to start something, and that small thing that maybe you think it's so small, don't use, someone said this to me, don't use today's eyes to see what the future could possibly be.
Come on.
So it may look like you're just making something in your room, whether it's a little candle thing that you like to make candles, and you're like, oh, it's just this little thing, or you like to bake and it's just this little thing. That little thing, everything starts as a little thing, and it can grow.
It can become a great thing.
It can be a great thing. It's just, if you want to believe, it will be. And that's another thing, you will never achieve what you don't believe. That's the honest truth. So you have to see the greater good, the bigger picture, and just aim for that, and understand that it will be slower, because if you have all these extra things. If I'm working right now, so my push with my book will not be as much as it would be if I wasn't working, because I'm given a good 8 hours a day, and then I have kids that come home. So yes, maybe I'm spending an hour on my book or trying to publicize it. But if I wasn't working, that's a good 8 hours that I could focus on my book. So understand that if you're not ready to drop these other things, it will be slow. It doesn't mean slow is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's a reality that we all have to understand, that this is just things that we have
and it's the season of your life.
Yes. And then also, I'll tell you this too, just because you're seeing all these sparkles and people are saying all these things, it's not always the truth. And for those that it is, that's great as well. But don't be distracted, I think is probably what I want to say. Don't be distracted by all these things. Just focus on you, and focus on your path, focus on your time, focus on what you're doing, and and make sure whatever you're thinking is bigger than you. Try and actually give out to the world. And that was something for me with the book, is I think the more testimonials I hear about it, like how it actually helped boys with their esteem. And I was like, oh, it's a girl book. And then my friend's like, oh, my boys actually were feeling that way.
Oh wow.
And I was like, oh my, she's like, yeah, I didn't think I would need it for my boys, because she's like, boys don't care. But they started watching soccer, and they're like, oh, I want my hair to be like the soccer player. Oh my, and then she read the book, and they're like, oh, actually I like my hair now. And I was just like, oh my god, like I did that. So yeah, it's just, you won't know how far and what your little is contributing to life, but just focus on what you can give and how you can serve others. I think is the key.
I love that. I think that's a good note. That's a good way to end this. And who wants Biola to come for your live? Because this is supposed to be a live video. We want a live video, because I feel like I'm not even like drawn out all the juice in her yet. Like, we'll talk for 2 hours, and I'm like, I still want some. We need to do some juice, And it was amazing. But so if you had a word to just always end, what I always say, I like to ask people this, but this is on my life anyway. What would you want to be remembered for?
Oh, for me, I want to be remembered for helping someone overcome self-esteem issues where they thought they couldn't, and they were encouraged when they left me or when they heard from me, and they had hope. I think that's one of my biggest things, and that gives me the most joy. When I've spoken to someone and they sent me a text saying, can I say this quickly?
Yeah.
I met with this lady, and she came over. She was feeling down, so I said, just come over, let's hang out at the house. And she came and we talked and all of that, and she sent me, like, I'm like tearing up right now thinking about it. But she sent me this text. She said, when I came, it wasn't just a meeting, it was an encounter. Aww. Like, you just opened my mind, and I was just like, oh my god, like I didn't even know, I'm just there, we're just having fun. So that for me is like the highest of what I would ever want, is just someone to say, you encouraged me, you gave me hope. That's the ultimate. I love that. I love that. That's I mean, it's like, you're the guest, so let's not get into me, but that was really great, and I love that, because that's one of the things that I think God is calling me to on my channel, to be an encourager. Most importantly, not just about you, because sometimes we get so self-absorbed. It's not about you, it's about encouraging, like what's the impact that you're making in another person's life. And I love that. Just those little things. It doesn't have to be the monetary things. I mean, money is good, you need it to achieve a whole lot of things and to push the kingdom forward, but it's mostly the impact in life. People, what's that thing that you say, people will not forget what you did, but they'll forget how you made them feel. Yes, exactly.
So with that being said, guys, I'm going to be linking my friend's book in the description box. Please do so well to support her book and her channel. Encourage her to come back. Don't want her to come back, but that's fine. You know, it's the season of life she's in. But please encourage her book. One is Hair Day. Such an amazing book. And yeah, let's just it's gonna be in the description box. Please just bombard her with love. We just at least 10 copies. We need like 10 copies to be bought from that link, right? So it's been an amazing time with Biola. And I want to say, if you had to tell a little girl anything right now, because your book is related to girls, right? If you had to tell a little girl anything, or you had to go back to your younger self, but mostly to just girls in the world watching, because I have daughters, so I'm very particular now on my channel about things I want them to come back to and just, you know, watch this video and be like, okay, I want to leave a girl with this. What would be that word that you want to say to them? Just a little girl that you just want to encourage. You know how you've been a young girl before, and you know the struggles that we face, because I always say every sex has their peculiarities, right? In terms of challenges, it could be something that you experienced, so it's not going to be for all girls, but there's a girl experiences something that you probably experienced, or you just want to encourage them. So what would that word be?
I have a soft spot for those that kind of struggle with self-esteem issues, because I think I did when I was younger. And honestly, you are so gorgeous, and you only get more beautiful as you age. Like, don't tamper with you. Like, don't look at what everyone looks like and think you want to fit in. Your uniqueness, because you are one of a kind and you want to stay one of a kind. Like, enjoy your uniqueness. It is beautiful. You are beautiful just as you are. And it only gets better. Honestly, it only gets better from here. Don't be afraid. Jump in. Whatever ideas that come to you, go for it fully. Okay, don't stop yourself, and don't be limited by anything or anyone else's decisions about you. It only gets better from here.
I love that. Bye guys, thank you so much for watching.
We all look stunning on Kemi's journey.